Imagine feeling deeply rooted, secure, and aligned with your deepest desires. In this episode, we're diving into the fascinating world of the root chakra and its connection to our innermost longings. Are you ready to unlock the power of grounded desire and transform your life from the ground up? You're listening to or watching the Sedona Soul Sister show, where we share psychic guidance and healing for embodied spiritual awakening. I'm Christel Arcucci, and I'm on a mission to support spiritual practitioners to access your intuition, unlock your psychic gifts, and live your purpose. A big thanks to our listeners all over the world, and a special shout out and a boost of love to our listeners in Anchorage, Alaska. You can schedule virtual desire sessions at desiresession.com. Each breath you take aligned with love repairs the healing web on planet Earth. I'm very excited to invite you to join the Manifest with Desires podcast series, where we unlock the power of your deepest longing to create the life you've always dreamed of and transform your desires into reality. If you'd like to receive all of the resources for the entire free series, visit manifestwithdesire.com and enter your name and email. Let's begin by taking a deeper breath and setting our intention for exploration today. As you breathe more deeply into your belly and your heart, feel your connection to the earth beneath you. As you exhale, imagine your energy grounding into the core of the earth, and silently or out loud repeat this prayer. Divine Source, guide me to understand and align my deepest desires with my embodied purpose. May I find security, belonging, and authenticity through this journey of self-discovery. We're diving into the foundational aspects of the root chakra, the nature of desire, and the connection to our sense of security and belonging. By understanding and balancing our root chakra, we create a stable foundation for personal growth, align our desires with our true purpose, and manifest our dreams with greater ease. We explore practical techniques to ground your energy, overcome fears, harness the power of authentic desires to live a more fulfilled and purposeful life. Signs of a balanced root chakra and confidence in your desires. Enhance stability and security in pursuing your desire with greater confidence and resilience. Improved physical health, clear decision making, confidence in your desires, increased manifestation power, and enjoyment of the process. Stronger, unapologetic boundaries, greater financial stability, enhanced creativity and productivity, deeper connection to pleasure and purpose. The shadows and challenges of a root chakra that is imbalanced and an unhealthy relationship with desire, fear and insecurity, materialism and greed, scarcity mindset, attachment issues. Physical manifestations can include lower back pain, leg issues, digestive problems, fatigue, or low energy. Survival mode patterns, disconnection from nature, procrastination and lack of follow-through, unresolved trauma, misaligned desires, resistance to change, and spiritual bypassing. An essential element that we establish in this episode, the first episode in the series in the root chakra, is that we can have a conscious desire to manifest all kinds of things: an ideal partner, a family, a home, more money, greater health, any of the core desires that you want in your life. There is the conscious desire. Yet, when we don't explore the unconscious wounds, patterns, and beliefs, then there's issues in bringing your conscious desires into manifestation, which is the focus of this entire series, to tap into the healthy power of creation, manifestation, and desire, and to also look at what you are currently experiencing for information about the wounds, the beliefs, and the patterns that are holding you back or stopping you from having what you most desire. Let's work with a real live example for me. I have a deep desire to publish a book. I have had this desire for a long time. I had made significant efforts in publishing a book, yet it has not happened yet. If it was as simple as I post my desire on my vision board and poof, it magically manifests, then I would have 10 published books by now at least. But we all know that it doesn't work that way. Sometimes things manifest easily, and sometimes they don't. The golden key in this conversation is when the conscious and unconscious desires, patterns, and beliefs are in alignment, that's when manifestation happens. But there is a lack of looking at the unconscious patterns, beliefs, and wounds that are stopping us from being, doing, having, and experiencing what we most desire. So while it can be challenging to look at the shadow, the unconscious, the wounds, the patterns, the beliefs that are holding us back, this is where your life can change dramatically, is exploring that with a sense of power and ideally pleasure to go, what is here? What is my current reality? What is present in my life? What is manifest? Because that is the union of our conscious and unconscious desires. So when there's a particular thing that is stuck, not happening, not being manifest, we go into exploring the unconscious beliefs, patterns, and wounds to then find the path to bring the conscious and unconscious desires together to manifest our desire. Carl Jung, the pioneering psychotherapist, said, "Until you make your unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. But the challenge lives in, if it's unconscious, how do we make it conscious?" And this is where, in looking at our present moment reality, or our present life experience as a whole, to say, this is what I desire, what I want to experience, yet this is what I'm experiencing. What you are experiencing is an expression of your unconscious wounds, beliefs, and patterns. So it is the information that we need to be able to bring the unconscious and the conscious together in order to manifest with desire and to clear the wounds, patterns, and beliefs that have been holding us back in order to create more of what we desire. It's important to note that our human mind wants to stay in what's familiar more than it wants change. So in looking at any of your intentions and desires, especially if they're big dreams and it's a radically different life or lifestyle from where you are, our brains go into a pattern of trying to keep us safe in what's familiar. So this is where we look at what we are currently experiencing, the unconscious expression. Then we work with, how do we move towards what we consciously desire in a way that our inner system doesn't get set off to knock us back into what is familiar. And there are ways that people have radical changes in their lives, which creates stress in the system. In the practice of manifest with desire, we are looking at the conscious desire, the unconscious expression of desire, and working to create the pathway through activating the different power centers in our system to create that transition with the most grace and ease possible, so that our system calibrates to a new experience and we can build in a way that our system feels safe in that change. For more information about the root chakra and practices to support you in balancing the root chakra, revisit episode 162 of the Sedona Soul Sister show. One of the key challenges I see with spiritual practitioners is they are super visionary and are often practicing transcendent teachings, which are focused on opening the third eye chakra, opening the crown, and aren't about bringing so much energy down into the body to bring things into being in the world. So this practice is about activating and aligning all of the 7 core chakras to be able to bring our desires into being. It is essential that you are physically grounded in your body and enjoying the life that you are currently experiencing, even while you are desiring more. This isn't a practice of escapism, of being like, oh, when I'm a published author, then I'll be happy, satisfied, successful. It is the enjoyment of the process of working with my desire to become a published author, and also working with the unconscious patterns, beliefs, and wounds. And for me, in this particular desire, wanting to become a published author, a huge part of that is actually the podcast series that I'm now doing. Like, I recently finished the Ecstatic Empath series, and now we've moved on to the Manifest with Desire series. And this practice is about distilling my teachings and my work into topics that can then be turned into a book. While I am talking about, I have wanted to publish a book for many years, I have many drafts of books in the works, yet I haven't gone through the entire process to get a book published. Because in this example, writing, which I've been doing since I was a child and have been keeping journals, writing for publishing and writing a book are radically different things, right? I still keep journals to this day. I often write for publishing on the internet or the blog or on my website or for the podcast. But writing for publishing on the internet and publishing a book are totally different things. And one of the things that I didn't realize until I started the process of actively working to publish a book, I realized that editing and refinement are a much bigger part of the process than the actual writing, which is part of why I'm doing these series now, because speaking is much easier, teaching is much easier. So now the practice is, yes, I make an outline for the podcast episodes, but then the episodes are transcribed, which will make it much easier to then go in and format it for a book. So you can see something like publishing a book can sound like a very small, short thing, but anyone who has published any writing knows that it's a massive project, especially for publishing a book. So it isn't just like, I want to manifest an ice cream cone. It isn't something that just simply happens. It is a practice. It takes time. It takes resources to make it happen. For me, it isn't so much about the unconscious wounds, patterns, or beliefs about being a published book author. It's more about the reality of bringing my desire into manifestation. It is a massive project. There is a lot of learning that has gone into it, and it is much easier for me to write than it is for me to edit and publish a book. So I'm using my example to support you in seeing that in manifestation, there are many pop culture manifestation teachings that say, put something on your vision board and it's going to manifest. But like becoming a published book author, that is not reality unless I want to hire a ghostwriter and a team to do it for me. And that is not what I want. I actually want to be the one that writes it. So it becomes this practice of how do I craft my life, my practice, and build the skills needed to manifest, to create, to become a published book author. So this practice is very grounded, rooted. I am actively working on it. I am aware of the dedication and commitment that comes along with having a book in my hands, which the more that I talk about it now, because of the things that I have put in place, it feels much more real. Like it doesn't feel as far away as it once did. At first, I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to be able to do this, but I have this desire. And this is part of the practice of recognizing our conscious desire. I want to be a published book author, looking at the patterns, wounds, and beliefs, looking at the reality of being able to bring this into being, and having all of those aspects work together to manifest my desire. The root chakra in Sanskrit is called the Muladhara. It is at the very base of the spine, at the perineum, in front of the tailbone. It is connected to the element of earth, often the color red. The root chakra holds our core desires for survival. It is the connection to our physical body, while our physical bodies and the needs of our physical bodies in order to survive. So, in connecting with our desires, it is important to be grounded in the reality of what my physical body needs. There are some needs and desires that are pretty universal, yet there are some desires that are more personal. Like I need a lot of alone time. I also really need time in nature. I need to get good sleep. I need to have food that my body enjoys. I need to have hydration and to be in a quiet, calm environment most of the time. And being able to honor our needs and desires and to work with them. I've talked about in many episodes, I'm very sensitive to a lot of things, which can be very challenging sometimes, but there is a way of honoring the desire of my body and working with it. And as much as possible, aligning my desire with the reality of what this physical human animal body needs and thrives on, and keeping that in reality. I have never been a great sleeper. And so it's always just been like, whatever, I don't sleep that well. But a few years ago, I really prioritized sleep. Most of the time before that, I would be in bed for like 7 hours, and I thought that was good. That didn't mean I was sleeping 7 hours, but at least I would try to be in bed for 7 hours. And then as I was getting support to improve my sleep, I was informed that I would thrive if I got 9 hours and 45 minutes of sleep every night, which felt radical. And like, no way, how is that even possible? How am I even going to do that? Yet over the last few years, I have prioritized that. And that doesn't mean it always happens. But when I can, getting 9 to 10 hours of sleep a night, I do so much better. And that is one of those root chakra desires of the body. See, the desires of the body can sometimes be so-called unconscious because our minds decide. Like my mind had decided 7 hours was good enough. And since I'm not sleeping anyway, why am I going to lay here and not sleep? I'm just going to get up and do things. Yet as I have shifted into what will happen if I prioritize resting, sleeping for 9.5 to 10 hours has been game changing. When I discovered that my body could thrive and do much better with more sleep, my unconscious belief and wounding and pattern was 7 hours of crappy sleep is plenty. As I shifted into consciously giving myself more time for sleep and rest, everything is going better. And then knowing when I'm having trouble falling asleep, when I wake up, having natural remedies and ways that I can take care of myself to get better sleep. And now I'm getting better sleep than I've gotten ever in my entire life, which I'm grateful for. But it was a whole practice of working with my unconscious desire and my conscious desire being improving my health, improving my sleep, my unconscious desire being don't waste time. More than 7 hours in bed is a waste. And working with that conflict to create better sleep in order to thrive and feel better in my body. The best technique I can give you for grounding your desire is most often if you are in a state of overwhelm with your desire. Why hasn't this manifest? What do I need to do? You are in what I call override mind. The mind is disconnected from the heart and the body, which mostly is going to be an undesirable experience. So when the mind is override, right? The point is not that the mind is bad. The override mind, when it is not listening to or in coherence with the body and the heart, that's when the conscious and the unconscious are battling each other. So the way to ground your desire, to be more clear about the conscious and unconscious desires, and to work with them together in order to create more of what you want in your life, grounding into being. Moving, breathing, and sounding or speaking is the fastest way to activate all of the centers. When the override mind is in charge, most often you're thinking, not breathing enough, and not moving. You're only thinking, and the mind is going a million miles a minute. You're not breathing deeply and you're not moving. So, the simple practice of taking a deeper breath and beginning to move your body and speak, which speaking is activating the power of the mind. But when you do all three of those together, that's when you can get solutions, ideas, become more grounded in the conscious and unconscious aspects of desire in order to manifest what you most desire. And this takes practice. While this is an essential aspect of my body of work, there was one night I was out on a cliff on the Red Rocks watching the sunset, and I was in a circle. I was doing a little ritual for myself, and the override mind kept kicking in and overthinking and trying to get all of the answers. The override mind very rarely has good solutions. So I kept having to breathe, move, speak, sound in order to get mind, heart, and body working together. And then I would instantly move out of overwhelm, move into embodiment, being grounded in my body, activating all of the energy centers, breathing deeply to enliven my body, and working with the mind, body, heart together. So powerful. And while it sounds simple, the unconscious pattern of override mind takes practice to reset. The good thing is mostly you'll have practice 1,000 times a day to try and do something different. Most often, the override mind has such a strong pattern, it jumps in to overthinking so quickly that you may not notice it right away. But as you begin to become more aware of when you're in overwhelm or when you're in override mind, where it's like the mind is frantically looking for a solution. Why isn't this working? Why haven't I manifested what I wanted? Why isn't this working for me? What's wrong with me? Blah, 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 blah. This stress pattern, breathing, moving into your body, integrating mind, heart, and body. That's where incredible magic happens. And it all happens with greater ease and grace. Because the reality of being human is it's never going to be easy or perfect or flawless. There's always going to be challenges. But when we are working mind, heart, body together, conscious and unconscious working together, that's when we jump timelines, shift our soul contracts, and create an entirely different experience. And we're more easily able to manifest our desires. And so, this practice of grounding our desire is a foundation for growth. It supports our authenticity in getting in touch with what we deeply desire, healing patterns of codependency or people pleasing to clear the patterns in order to have more of what we want. And in doing that, overcoming obstacles, patterns that we may have been repeating for decades or even lifetimes in order to create a new experience of embodiment. Grounding in our desire, rooting in our desire, supports our well being and our connection to the planet and the people around us by being more embodied, more connected to our own bodies, more connected to our immediate environment, more connected to every being that we are sharing this planet with. It increases our health because we are more in tune with what our body is asking for rather than letting the override mind run the show. Rooting in our desire supports us in the practice of pleasurable purpose. Pleasurable purpose is a marriage of the masculine and feminine essence. The pleasure is a feminine essence aspect, whereas purpose is a more masculine essence aspect. And working those two together, being deeply connected to pleasure and also connected to our embodied purpose, and doing both, embodying pleasure and purpose, is the way of bringing our own masculine and feminine essence into everything we are being, doing, having, and experiencing in a beautiful way. The strong root chakra and deep connection to our desires supports our resilience as we get clear of knowing when the override mind is running the show, being clear of our conscious desires, recognizing our unconscious patterns, wounds, and beliefs. Then we can more powerfully shift, be resilient in the wild world that we are currently living in. The root chakra also supports us in being more connected to the earth, the world around us, what is happening from a place of embodied power rather than moving up and out and trying to escape the current reality of life on earth. We are more resilient, more grounded, more connected, and better guided by our soul in bringing our pleasurable purpose into reality, in living our desires. And transitioning into the self-inquiry questions. In what ways do your deepest desires reflect your need for security and belonging? And how might these desires be shaping your life choices? How does your relationship with the material world influence your sense of stability? And where can you find opportunities to create a healthier balance? What recurring patterns, beliefs, behaviors, wounds in your life might be stemming from an imbalanced root chakra, from override mind, or from unconscious desires? And what steps can you take to address them? How does your connection or lack of connection to nature and your physical environment affect your ability to feel grounded? And what practices can enhance this connection? Thank you for being a part of our community. I'm honored to support your embodied spiritual awakening. I invite you to join me on a transformative journey into the depths of your desire. A desire session offers a blend of hypnosis, energy healing, and jumping timelines. We'll align the power of your conscious and unconscious desires with your pleasurable purpose, igniting a powerful force for manifestation in your life. Ready to unlock the full potential of your desires? Visit desiresession.com to book your personalized phone session. Leave a review and follow on your favorite podcast app. Until next time, breathe gently, listen to your guidance, and create miracles.